Mute. That's my microphone was on mute, child. Thank you. How does that? Is that better? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? My bad. It's been work trying to get all this to work because not only am I sharing, a recording on my camera or, streaming on my camera, I've got this microphone and then I've got my iPad connected, which I had to watch tutorials on how to share my iPad screen on a live session. So hopefully this goes well because I actually want to show you how the planner looks in on my iPad and on the clickable version as well. But let's get into this. If you don't know, my name is Labria Jones. I assume you know my name if you're here, right? It's the name of my channel. You either probably got here via my newsletter. If you are not subscribed to my newsletter, I do have a Substack that I love. I send out a newsletter every Sunday. Every Sunday, I send out a newsletter. So if you would like to join my Substack, I can drop the link to it in the comments. It will also be in the description box. But let me drop that right quick. I don't expect this to be a huge group. It's a Sunday on a holiday weekend. So, people chilling, people traveling. But feel free to catch the replay. If you are watching the replay, let me know in the comments. But that is my Substack. So some of you got here via Substack, and some of you probably got here via Instagram because I did post that I was going live on my Instagram. And some of you are already subscribers on YouTube. So if you are not a subscriber, go ahead and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and let's hang out because, I try to have a good time around here. Quick introduction. My name is Labria Jones. Again, I am over 40. Really, I'm gonna have to stop saying that pretty soon, y'all. I am almost 50 and just hell bent on living this one and only life to the fullest. I truly believe like we really only get to do this once. And so we should do it to the fullest. And I am obsessed with self-mastery and just self-improvement. And so that's a lot of the stuff that I share on here. I'm always trying something to make myself better. And some things work, some things don't work. And I share all of that in the hopes that it helps you live your one and only life to the fullest as well. And today, the link didn't work. That's weird. Here, let me try it again. Anyway, today, what I want to share with you is my planner. Oh, you know what? I put it in the wrong order. It's libriajones.substack.com. My bad, friend. That's me. That's on me. I gave you the wrong link. There you go. Okay. Sorry about that. So I want to talk to you guys about this planner. So first of all, there is nothing like having an idea for something and wanting to create something and then having that thing actually happen. Like it just feels so good. And I've been wanting to make this planner for about 3 or 4 years. I've been like, I really want to make a goal planner. And this is not your everyday, daily planner. This is more of, think about it more like a journal that kind of helps you really get to know yourself and helps you based on knowing yourself and the things that are important to you and the things that make you happy and the things you truly care about, not what other people care about, not what other people tell you to care about, but what you genuinely care about. Really diving deep into that and then building your goals based on that. And then the rest of the planner is essentially turning those goals into actions and finding systems to support them and then tending to those goals throughout the year. Because one of the things that we do is, I love a vision board. Let me not say that. That's a lie. I actually don't love vision boards. I love it for the people that love it. You know what I mean? Like if you love a vision board, I love that for you. It doesn't work for me because it just gets stale, right? There's no tending happening there. And I have a project management mindset. And so I need objectives to be tended to and regularly planned and worked essentially. And so I don't love a vision board. I love creating something where every month I'm looking at my goals and trying to figure out where I am towards those goals and what I need to do to continue to get closer to that goal. Does that make sense? And so that's why I wanted to do this planner. I've been wanting to do this for God, like 5 years and I'm finally doing it. I'm so excited. Let me know in the comments if there's something that you have been thinking about doing for a long time or creating and you turned it from a thought or an idea into a real thing. Even if you didn't sell it to anybody or, publish it publicly, even if it was just, a painting you wanted to do or a craft that you wanted to do or, decorating a room. because I truly think that there's just nothing like turning an idea into a real tangible thing. It does so much for your self efficacy. So let me know in the comments something that you have done that was something that you have been thinking about doing and you turned it into a real thing. This planner is that for me, and I can't stop smiling every time I talk about it because it makes me feel really good that I actually did get to create this. And so I do want to give you guys a little bit of background about the planner. I constantly make things from my ideas. I love that. I think we should do it all the time. Like it does such a great job of like helping life feel full and meaningful and purposeful, but also it continues to increase your self-efficacy or your belief in yourself and your capabilities, right? I started a channel. I'm proud of that. Congratulations. Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit about the planner really quickly. So it has two versions. Um, and again, it's not a daily planner. So you're not going to see like daily schedules and weekly schedules. That's not what this is. This is for your goals, is for you to plan, figure out yourself, plan your goals, and manage your goals throughout the year. And there's two versions of it. So there's a clickable version, and the clickable version is best for iPad or a tablet if you have, an Android tablet. And then there is a fillable version if you want to complete it online, online on your laptop or on your desktop. So there's two versions for that. Now, I really wanted a physical version so badly. Like that was the primary version that I wanted to create. That was the first version we created. That was my priority. But unfortunately, the manufacturer in China told me that we wouldn't be able to get that out, even shipped to anybody, until mid-February. And I was like, look, I know people like not everybody plans their goals like before January, right? Some people spend the month of January just kind of easing into the year, hibernating a little bit, recovering from the previous year, recovering from the holidays, and really kind of being intentional about coming up with their goals. How many of you actually do plan your goals in January? Let me know in the comments. Like you don't roll into the year like, oh, I already know what I'm doing. Some people like take January to ease into figuring those goals out. And so I was okay with launching in January, but I was like by February, by mid-February, child, they done figured it out already. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They need to have the plan already. And so we had to scrap the physical version this time and go ahead and just launch it digitally. So we have two digital versions, but for 2027, you will have it. It will be in your hands. The goal is to launch it early November so that we can sell it, starting Black Friday. I work on a 12-week format, so I'm always gauging my moves. I love that. I love that. And the difference, so when I first read the 12-week year, like 5 or 6 years ago, my thought was, of course you plan in 12 weeks. Like that's quarterly planning, right? 12 weeks is about a quarter, 3 months, give or take, right? Some months have 5 weeks in it. But the thing that's slightly different is that 12 weeks can start at any time, right? For anyone, that 12 weeks can start at any time. But I've always kind of managed my life through, quarterly planning. And when I mentioned vision boards earlier, I used to create quarterly vision boards. Like I was like, this vision board thing doesn't work for me. It's just too stale. So I just will create vision boards every quarter. These are my goals for the quarter. So I love that. Yes, Michelle, the 12-week format, because that's just kind of how I roll. Like, and even with this goal planning that we're talking about, I'm going to show you there's a quarterly plan in here because I think so often we should sit down and say, is this still my goal? Am I still working towards this? Do I even still care about this? Because baby, Lib in July is very different than Lib in January. She might not care about the same stuff anymore. Plan every 90 days. Yeah, exactly. And so I think starting with a, year-long plan or the goals that I want to hit this year, and then taking the time to review them every quarter and reconsider is, the right thing to do. I love that you guys are doing that. Y'all on the same page. Y'all done found y'all's people. Okay, so I also want to mention, here's how to get to the planner. If you do not have the planner already, some of you have it already because you signed up to be notified. But if you don't have the planner already, that's how to get to it. There's a link that I just dropped. I will put it on the screen as well. The planner is $37. It's like 258 pages. Don't worry, it's not that much homework. It's 258 pages because there are sections for every month, every quarter, and then there's a mid-year and end of the year review, just so you know. So it's a lot of pages, but like that's not all the homework that you have to do, just so you know. All right. Um, we also have a community. So one of the things that we're going to do on this call, if we have the time, well, we'll have the time. We'll make the time. I'll make the time to do it. One of the things that we're going to do on this call is I'm going to actually walk through my, planning January on this planner with you guys. But I have started a community because I want to have co-working sessions once a month so that we can come together, hold each other accountable, and do our monthly review and monthly planning so that we can stay on top of our goals. And I want this to be a low-key community. I don't want this to be too involved, y'all. Like, we're not trying to add too much to our plates in 2026. I know I'm not. I don't know about you, but I'm not. I'm trying to remove things from my plate at this point, right? And so this is a super low-key community. And what we'll do is we'll just meet once a month as a group. This is not me, necessarily speaking to you like I am here. It will be in a meeting. You can talk to me, I can talk to you, we can talk to each other. And it will be, let's review our month, right? We're going to go through the review prompts that are in the planner, and then we'll go ahead and plan the month ahead. Now, we can have weekly check-ins, and at any time, people can drop things in the community if they have questions, if they want to kind of work through something together, or if we want to share resources. Like, we stumbled upon this really great idea for, saving money on student loans or paying down debt or something. You watched a really great video, share it in the community. Super low-key community. I don't want this to be a heavy lift. And so if you want to join the community, it's just $10 a month. And you can cancel whenever you want to, but we'll get together the last Sunday or the last Saturday. I forget what I scheduled it for. I think I scheduled it for the last Saturday of every month. And we will just review the month before, plan the month ahead, and state our goals so that we can all hold each other accountable. It's, again, just $10 a month. And then there's a link to join the community there. And I'll just tell you, the community platforms also, I try to be as low key as possible. The community is in Slack. I didn't want you to have to download another app. Everybody got an app for communities now. I didn't want you to have to download another app. The good thing about Slack is you can use it in the browser, right? You can just go on a web browser and open a Slack channel, open a Slack instance and log in. No apps to use at all, unless you want to. If you want to download the app or if you already have it, you can just add it. And we'll meet on Google Meets because I want this to be a meeting, not a webinar, right? I don't want to be the only one with inputs. This is a working session. This is a co-working session so that we can tend to our goals throughout the year. Yeah, I will, but also they will be in the description as well. But can I pin these comments? I don't even know how to pin the comments. I don't see where I can do that. Let's see. Is that pinned? Let me know if that looks pinned for you. But I will leave all of the links in the description box as well. So feel free to come back to the replay and get to these. Let me know if you see these comments, because I think I just clicked something to pin it, but I don't think it's actually pinned in YouTube because I don't know how to do that on here. All right, let's get into the planner. Are we ready to get into the planner? Let me really quickly, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to go through this. Press and hold the comment. So I'm not in YouTube. I'm in StreamYard. It doesn't work that way here. I'm not on YouTube, but it will be in the description box. I can pin it on YouTube. So I don't think these comments show up on YouTube the way regular comments do either. It's fine. It'll be in the description box. I promise you'll be able to get to it. All right, let's do a tour of the planner, shall we? I'm going to add the planner to the stage. Put myself right here. This is the clickable version of the planner. So this is the iPad version of the planner. Let me know in the comments if you have the planner. Do you have the clickable version or the fillable version? I'm going to share both of them and walk through those. But let me know in the comments if you have the planner. Do you have the iPad or tablet version, or do you have the desktop laptop version? I kind of like the clickable version better just because it looks more like a book. I really, really wanted the physical version so that I could write in it. And so that is the thing that I love about this version. I actually get to basically write in it. Um, it is, and it's still an Android version. It's iPad or tablet. So the clickable version is for an iPad or a tablet. Doesn't matter which one you have. And when I say tablet, I mean Android. Any tablet. Yeah. All right. So let me go through the sections for you. So this is what the planner, I would not use this on a cell phone. It's too, it would be too small. It would be way too small because we're writing in this. I would definitely not use that on a cell phone. I don't even know how you would be able to see the screens. It's way, I wouldn't do it. If you can, you can. Um, but I wouldn't do that. All right, so this is what it looks like when you first open it. So that's the homepage. It is called, I mean, the homepage, the cover. It's called One and Only because you guys, if you are on my YouTube, you hear me say this all the time. This is your one and only life. You may as well live it to the fullest. And so it says that on here. It's called the One and Only Planner. And it says it's your one and only life. You may as well live it to the fullest. It says it right there at the bottom. All right. And so when you get into the planner, this is what it looks like. It's very colorful because I do love color. And the first page is an index. The cool thing about the iPad version is that it's clickable and you can just go to different sections in it. So this whole page, everything in this page is clickable. So these buttons are clickable here. It'll take you to your sections. If you need to go to one of the monthly sections, you can do that here, or you can do it on a side tab as well. These tabs are clickable also, so it'll take you to any of these. And section 1, there's a little letter from me in there, just kind of talking about my background in planning and how I came to love planners. And then there's a section here on how to use this planner, right? So it just breaks down every section of the planner. Let's go through that. These are the sections of the planner. The first section is the Know Thyself section. So thank you. I'm glad you like the colors. I love the Know Thyself section because we start before we really get into this, we get into understanding ourselves, right? I have a deep desire to really know myself very well. And I know to somebody that might sound crazy, but a lot of people really don't know themselves very well. Either you've been performing the programming that you've been taught, that you've been given, right? You've been following the path that someone laid out for you or told you had to take, or you've been performing your job roles, right? Or your life roles. You've been performing as a mom, as a daughter, as a wife, as a spouse, as a boyfriend, as a girlfriend. You have not had the chance to really get to know yourself. And there was a time in my life where I felt that I didn't know myself very well. I really did feel like I didn't know myself very well. And so the starting point for this planner is getting to know yourself. And I think that that's kind of the basis to get to know what your goals should be. You got to know who you are to know what meaningful goals you should have. And then we do a year-end review. I think it's important to look back in order to look forward. Because when you think about it, people that are investors don't just blindly invest in stocks. They look at past history. They look at the performance of those companies and of those stocks before they invest in those stocks. And I know we're not necessarily talking about investing money, but we are talking about investing your time, which is a much more valuable resource. We're talking about investing your time, your attention, and your intention. And so I think it's important to do a review. And so there's a section in this planner where you can do a yearly review and ask you some questions and calls out some things that you should, look into. And then there's a section on journaling and brainstorming. And this is more activity of like getting to understand yourself and what your vision and values are. What's really cool is as you go through exercises 1, 2, and 3, you start to see recurring themes, right? You start to see things that are like, oh, I didn't realize how important that was to me. That is how I realized how important freedom was to me. I did this exercise years ago and noticed that very often the word freedom or a version of the word freedom came up in my answers and in my writing. And I was like, this is why I'm like this. Like, I totally get it. And so a lot of my goals turned into being goals that led to me being free to make the decisions that I want to make, to live the lifestyle that I want to live, to be able to travel and work the way I want to work. And then the next session is setting goals. So then we get into goals, right? We turn possibilities into commitments. And so I have this philosophy. It says here, turn possibilities and commitments, but you'll learn to distinguish between goals and desired outcomes. For me, goals and desired outcomes are two different things. And I think people set goals that are really desired outcomes very often. Something like get married or get into a relationship. I don't control that. Listen, baby, if I control that, I would have had a man a long time ago. Okay. A long time ago. But I think that what I can control and a goal I can set is focusing on things like responding to messages or going out to events, going on the dating apps. Nobody wants to do that. I'm going to use a different example. I'm going to use the example of bringing down your credit score, right? You don't control the algorithm. It's not always going to work the way you think it will work, but wanting to have an 800 credit score or 750 credit score is noble, right? You should want that, but you don't have control over it. And so if you don't hit it, you may not necessarily know why. But the things that you can control is paying down debt, right? The things that Cuz paying down debt doesn't always equal your credit score going up. Y'all know that, right? Like if you pay down a loan, your credit score can go down as a result. So if you focus on the things that you control, you're going to feel a lot better at the end of the year when you can check the box and say, yes, I did the thing that I said I would do, that I had control over doing it. An example I love to use, since Michelle, yes, Michelle, you just mentioned you started a channel. One of the examples I love to use is people saying, I want to hit, 2,000 subscribers or 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. You don't control that, boo. You just don't. You have no idea why someone will or won't hit the subscribe button, right? And if you don't hit the goal, you have no data to tell you what you did wrong, right? But if you set the goal that says, I'm going to post every week, or I'm going to take lessons, I'm going to learn how to do something new on YouTube every month to incorporate into my videos every month. If you don't hit those goals, you know exactly why you didn't hit those goals. And you hope as a result of that thing that you said you would do, that you have control over, that the outcome is that you get more subscribers. Focus on what you can control, man. You'll be a lot happier if you do. And then the next section, we talk about action plans and systems. Again, I'm a project manager by habit and by trade and by habit. And so I believe that a goal is just a dream unless you put action plans towards it. And systems are what come into place to support those goals when your motivation wanes. Because we all know motivation is not reliable, babes. Sounds good. It'll be here today, gone tomorrow. And then once you've got all that, there's a section for the goal template. So I created these goal templates that you can fill out. There's 10 of them in there just because we shouldn't have 5 million goals in a year. Just 10 goal templates in there that you can fill out. You can probably copy and paste more if you want. And then there's a section for planning and reviews. This is where the rubber really meets the road, where we just don't write something down and let it collect dust or forget about it, right? So on a monthly basis, we're going in and reviewing our goals, where we are, where we need to be, what we need to do differently, what we need to step up on. And then we're planning how we're going to reach those goals the very next month. So those are the sections for the planner. What do you guys think so far? We can go through one of these sections. We can go through a couple of these sections together. I can show them to you. Actually, I'm going to show you I am going to show you the clickable version for the people that want to use it on desktop. Let me find it. I just opened it. I thought I just opened it. Give me just a second. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Yay. I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that. All right. So here's the fillable version. Can you guys see that? This is the fillable version. I like it because you can just type right in it. The only thing I don't like is I wish it looked more like a book, but you can see it a lot better probably on my screen. You can probably read it better. But these are the sections that we just walked through. The other thing I want you to know is that in both planners, you see there's these, let me go to each section, and each section has a nice quote. So each one of the sections has a nice quote. This is the quote for the section on know thyself. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. That's such a good quote. I love that quote. Um, Here's what I do like a lot in this planner. I'm just scrolling through trying to get to one of these pages that I'm going to tell you about. So in both the fillable and clickable version, there are videos that go with each section. So if you're in the fillable version, you have a QR code. If you're in the clickable version, it's just a hyperlink. When you click on it, it'll go directly to the video. Um, Hey, Robin, you're in France for a month. Ooh, nice. Ooh, we will. Ooh la la. um, if you have an iPad, I mean, you can use the clickable version on your phone for sure. I think it's just going to be hard to do because you're like writing into this stuff. Um, so I personally like the clickable version, which is for iPad or a tablet. The clickable version you could probably use on a phone. I just see it being really hard to use. I don't see it being an excellent user experience, but try it out. See if see if it works for you. Let's go. But like I said, each one of these has a video. And actually, let me show it to you on the clickable version because it'll go straight to one of my videos. Let me stop sharing the clickable real quick. Uh, Let me add my other one back to the stage. Hold, please. Hold, please. Present. I wish I could keep both up here. All right. So here's what I mean. If you have the clickable version and you go to the beginning of each section has like this breakdown here that just talks about what this section is about. And then there are videos on each section as well. I'm going to go to the journaling section. So if I click on watch the video, it'll take you to the YouTube video that corresponds to that, which is kind of perfect. Just so you know. Okay, let's stop that. That's enough of that. Go away, girl. Go away, girl. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the clickable version. And if you purchase, there's a video. Does it transfer across devices? For example, I'm an iPad girly, but might also access my laptop. I actually haven't tried that, but I'm sure you could. You would have to, I'm sure you could. You would probably have to have the Notability app on both. So I'm using it with the Notability app, but I haven't tried that. That's a good question. The clickable version is definitely usable on both devices. I'm sorry, not the clickable. The fillable version is absolutely usable on both devices, but I haven't tried the clickable version on my laptop. I have not actually tried that. I'm sure you could. I don't know that it would save the same information. I don't have Notability, the app that I'm using to utilize it. I don't have that on my laptop, so I'm not entirely sure. All right, let's get back to the clickable version. So let's fill out one section together. So the first section in the Know Thyself is positive words that describe you. So this goes through words that describe you, and then you answer things that excite you. So I'm going to fill out mine. You guys drop some of these for you. So these are broken up into a few different categories: social and interpersonal, thinking and problem solving, drive, creativity, reliability, emotions. So drop some of the words you see on the screen that fit you. I'm going to drop mine. I'm going to say I'm very diplomatic, like to a fault sometimes. Like some people need to be cussed out and I just don't. I can't make myself do it because I'm way too diplomatic. Way too diplomatic. What are some of the words you guys see that fit you? So I'm going to click on diplomatic. Uh-oh. My mouse is turning. I don't know what I did. I am supportive. I'd say I'm very sociable, obviously. Thinking and problem solving, I'd say I am logical. Libras are logical people, man. Libras are very logical people. And insightful. I'm going to go with Productive for sure. Goal oriented, obviously. Um, Playful, expressive, optimistic. I'm definitely an optimistic person for sure, and introspective. I think I try to challenge myself a lot. I think about how I think often. I know that sounds crazy, but so and then you go and answer some of the things that excite you. Somebody said I'm also very curious, empathetic, and generous. I love that. Honest to a fault. Oh, and sensitive. Okay. Things that excite me, learning something new. I like coaching and inspiring people. I do love doing that, and achieving goals is a big one for me. Simple pleasures and peaceful moments. That's not me. Appreciation for the small things. Not saying I don't appreciate small things, but those aren't the things that excite me, I'd say. I appreciate them, but it's not exciting to me. And so this is all the like good stuff about you, right? My computer feels like it's doing too much. It's spinning. What are some of the things? Learning something new. What's the last new thing you learned, Robin? I love learning new things. That's like one of the things I put in my dating profile. That's one of the things I love to do. And then you answer questions like, what am I really good at? And so if you have the clickable version, I'm sorry, the fillable version, when you hover over the boxes, you can just type directly in them, right? So I think if you were using a phone, I'd do this. Ooh, is that why you're in France for a month? Ooh, I want to do that. I want to take some French and then go hang out for a month in France. Here you answer your best memories involved. And then let's go down. So then you write a letter to yourself about living your best life. So you imagine yourself living your best life and you write a letter to that person. And then, so because I am a Libra and I believe in balance, we're going to talk about the good and the bad, and we're not going to shy away from the bad. So I also have negative words that describe you here. So this section is called my dark side. So this is not about, beating yourself up, but this is about being honest about how you see yourself, right? When no one's in the room, what are the things you say to yourself often? I used to say that I was a quitter. I used to say that I quit things and I don't finish things. I don't believe that about myself anymore. I've proven myself to be wrong about that. But that was one of the negative things that I would say to myself very often. I saw myself as a quitter. Um, I will say that I am sometimes withdrawn, inconsistent. I will say that I am moody, and I don't want to say self-critical. I actually say I tend to get jealous. Now, I know a lot of people think jealousy is like the worst thing you could ever be. Jealousy is a normal human trait. It is what you do with jealousy that is horrible, right? For some people, they act out. For me, I get introspective. I'm like, what is this telling me? Like there's a gap in what I want and where I am. And this is not about the other person. This is about something that I am not doing. Like I obviously want something that I haven't taken the effort to get, and I feel a way that I don't have it. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm gonna own up to that. I'm gonna own up to that. Thankfully, jealousy makes me turn inward and start thinking about, well, what makes me feel this way? Um, Control and flexibility. I tend to be a little passive. Like I let stuff slide. Somebody says they're an overthinker. Um, yeah, a lot of people have that trait. And then, oh wait, I gotta get back to my screen. Hide you. That's in my way. You are not withdrawn. So what are you then? What do you feel like you are on this list? And I put this here just to challenge us because my experience has been a lot of times when you ask women, especially, what their flaws are, they say things like, I give of myself too much. I don't say no enough. And, those can be challenging things too. Like, I put myself last. Those can be challenging things too, for sure. But I want us to think beyond that. Like, what are some of the character flaws that we have? What are some of our weak points? Um, because we all have them, right? What are some of the things that we wish we just were better at as people? Um, and there's even a question here that says, what would the closest people to you, what would the people closest to you point out if they could? Like, um, there's another question here. If you were writing yourself an intervention letter, it is, if your family was going to divorce you, what would be the reason? No one's gonna divorce you because you put yourself last. Your parents aren't, I mean, your family's not gonna do that. Like, your kids aren't gonna be like, you put yourself last too much. I'm gonna leave you." Your kids would be like, "You're too controlling," right? And I feel like my experience has been, I mean, as I say, I feel like my experience has been when I have these conversations with women, the answer is usually something that's altruistic, that really just makes them sound like a very good person, right? Like, I don't say no enough. I put others before myself. Sure. But like, also, if your kids were to never speak to you again, it would be because of this thing, right? Because we all have those things. And this is our opportunity to be honest with ourselves about those things, right? So that's what this section is about. Just pulling back the layers and realizing that we are humans, we are regular people, and we've got some stuff. We got some stuff we got to work on. And if we pay attention to this, then this helps us identify, like, this helps us pay attention to when it's happening so we can correct before we lash out or before we do anything. So, like this jealousy thing, right? People think that being jealous is such a bad trait, but everybody feels jealous at some point for some reason. But when it comes up, what do you do with those feelings, right? Being passive is something that I've been working on lately, for the last year or so, because I want to keep the peace, right? So I let stuff slide. Um, and it's not a thing until it's a thing. And when it's a thing, it's a thing. But it's not fair to be upset with people and they don't know about it, you know? It's not fair. I make everything a game. Yeah. Though I micromanage, though I hate to be managed, I often micromanage. Okay. My kids say I play too much. Does that mean you're dismissive, maybe? Like, you're not giving moments the seriousness that they deserve or that people expect? I wonder if that's what that means. But yeah, so there's a section in here to kind of, write yourself a little, like, what am I bad at? What am I afraid of? What are you guys afraid of? Not reaching my full potential, failing publicly, letting people down, being rejected or abandoned, or, write in your own. We all have fears running quietly in the background, shaping decisions we don't even realize we're making. I think, if I were to write myself an intervention letter, so that's what this is. Write your self. I like this. Close your eyes. Imagine you're not you. You're your own best friend. Someone who knows you completely, loves you fiercely, isn't afraid to tell you the truth. Hold your hand and say in her Ayanla voice, "Beloved, let's call a thing," right? So you decide to stage an intervention, not some dramatic reality style intervention, but a tough love conversation, not to tear yourself down, but to wake yourself up. What does the person who loves you most need you to hear? I think if I wrote myself an intervention letter, it would talk about how my self-worth is not tied to producing. I tend to get self-worth from being productive, from doing things, from checking boxes, from creating. Like, if I just wake up every day and survive and live my life, I am still worthy. And I feel like that is a challenge that I have. Like, I feel like I have to be doing something. And I find myself that I think that shows up in my friendships and my relationships quite often. Like, I'm always trying to prove that I'm worthy of being considered, loved, kept around. And that's one of the reasons why, that passive thing comes up, right? Like, I'm not going to make a fuss about things, because if I'm seen as difficult, maybe you won't want me to be your friend anymore. Or maybe you won't want to date me anymore if I'm not easy to be around, right? So, child, things we got to unpack. But that is the point. That is the point of that exercise so that we can kind of get to know each other ourselves. And those kind of things may end up showing up in your goals, right? Maybe you realize, oh, you know what? One of my goals this year needs to be I need to work on speaking up for myself. Or I need to work on, if you're a perfectionist, I need to work on, you know, being okay with a version 1 or an MVP or being seen trying, you know? If I'm an overthinker, maybe I need to work on, I don't know, thinking less and doing more, right? Taking action. So that's what that section's about. Let's go to the next section, shall we? The next section is journaling and brainstorming. Let's do a little journal brainstorm together. Let me get there. The year in review is actually the next section. The quote there is, we do not learn from experience, we learn from reflecting on experience, right? You can't just experience the thing. You've got to reflect on that thing and figure out, what the learning is. And so here we kind of go through the life categories. If you guys haven't been exposed to my planning content before, you may not know I plan and manage my life in 6 categories. They are finance, health, career and or business, education, lifestyle, and relationships. So typically my goals, my tasks, my action items, my projects all fit under one of these things. These are the things I'm pretty much, chasing. And these are the things I think lead to whole life fulfillment. If you're a religious person, you can add religion or spirituality as one of those as well. These are the 6. And some people just include that under relationships. Maybe that's their relationship with God. And some people include that under health from a mental and spiritual health perspective. Totally up to you. But so one of the things I do in the year in review is I rate each of these categories 1 to 5, and I say what my successes and failures were for the last year. Why don't we pick one? What would you rate your? That one might be too personal. What would you rate your health category for 2025? 1 to 5. 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. I'm going to rate mine a 4. I did pretty good from a health perspective last year for the most part. Super proud of myself. And then you can you can put in your successes and failures. I'd say my successes last year was I stuck to my non-negotiable for the year, which was working out for 30 minutes at least 3 days per week minimum. I mean, y'all, I went to a whole fitness retreat for a whole month. You improved, but you could have been better. Okay, what did you improve? So if you were to fill out the success section, what would you say? I'd say on my failures, though I worked out, that says thought, though I worked out consistently, I was not consistent with sticking to my macros or drinking water. There you go. So that's one of the things that we do in the year in review. And then there's just a few questions. Like, what are some goals you had that you didn't achieve? 3 words to describe 2025. And then just a couple of questions about 2025. And then the next section that you go into is journaling. I love this section because there's some really great questions in here. Like, when did I feel most like myself over the last year or 3 years? I stuck to my meal plan 20 of 30 days. Oh, that's amazing. And I was strong with drinking water. Thank you. You know what? Let me drink some water right quick. Hold on. Thank you for that reminder, friend. I like this question. When I think back over the last few years, what compliment do I often deflect or miss most often? And what does that reveal about how I see myself? What's a compliment people give you that you typically are like, you step over it, or you redirect them, or you redirect them, or how do I say this? Or you try to diminish the compliment. Women do this a lot. When people say, "Oh, your skin looks so," the number of times I have had women try to talk me out of my compliment. Your skin looks so good. Does it, girl? It's a mess. I need to. Are you are you telling me I'm wrong? Could you could just could you say thank you? Your lashes look good. Do they? Girl, I need to get them done. Your nails are so pretty. There's a chip right there. Ma'am, why are you trying to talk me out of my compliment? I said it because I wanted to say it. I said it because this is what I believe. Why are you trying to convince me otherwise? Why do we do that? We do it so much. One year I committed to just saying thank you, like just say thank you. And then 2023, because 2022, my what is the word? Confidence was at an all-time low. 2022, my confidence was in the trash. Okay. It was at my ankles. And so 2023, I really focused on it. And so I went beyond just saying thank you. I started agreeing with people. I started agreeing with people. When they said, Liberate, your hair looks good, I'd be like, I like it too. Thank you so much for noticing it. Or they're like, you look so pretty. And I was like, I felt no, they'll look at a picture and say, you look so pretty. And I'm like, I felt pretty. Thank you. Thank you for noticing. I appreciate that. So like level one, just say thank you, ladies. Level two, let's agree with the compliment. Let's just agree with it. But anyway, this question, I like this question because, what compliment do I often deflect or dismiss? And what does that reveal about how I see myself? I'd say for me, one of the compliments that I deflect often is when someone tries to compliment me for um, an influence that I had, from this platform. Maybe they took some advice that I shared. Maybe they got a remote job because of something I shared. Maybe they traveled because of, the example. Or someone says, Libria, you living out loud and, trying to live your best life has really been, super inspiring to me. And I've done this, that, and other thing, but because of it, I tend to deflect stuff like that. And I think what that says about me is I feel like we're about to have a therapy session, okay? All through high school, um, there were some girls that didn't like me because I quote unquote thought I was all that. I did not. I actually have really low self-esteem when I was in high school, very low self-esteem when I was in high school. Um, but I was friendly and outgoing. I've always been friendly, outgoing, and social my whole life. So I present as very confident, but that doesn't mean I am. And so when people say things like that to me, I tend to try to make myself, you know, I tend to dismiss it because I don't want anyone to think that I think I'm all that. Does that make sense? Like it makes me uncomfortable because I don't want anybody thinking I think I'm all that because that's what was said to me quite often in high school, which is actually pretty wild because we should all think we're all that. Literally all of us. And like, why would we be mad at someone for thinking they're all that? It's so crazy, but that has been ingrained in me. And so that's a compliment I typically find myself trying to deflect and feeling uncomfortable about. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, child, we're gonna have to work that out in therapy, okay? But that is what the journaling section is. Lots of questions like that to make you really think about yourself, and what you value and what you're afraid of to help you kind of get to what your goals are. And I like this question too. What are you willing to sacrifice for whatever is most important to you this year, right now? What are you willing to sacrifice for your career? What are you willing to sacrifice for your faith or your family or your health? Or your legacy? What are you willing to this ain't got to be this too deep, right? Like you don't have to answer every single one. But one of the things I was willing to sacrifice, if you guys have followed my channel for a while, you know that I put my house up for rent and kind of nomaded for a while, was house sitting, was, living with my best friend. And I was staying with my parents off and on as well. And then my parents moved out and I moved into their house. But for a year and a half, I was essentially staying with my parents. I would stay at the Airbnb that we ran, me and my mom run, but I was essentially staying with my parents because I wanted to significantly reduce my living expenses so that I could pay off debt. I was willing to sacrifice having my own house so that I could pay off debt. I was willing to sacrifice my own place, my own space, live out of suitcases, and stay at my parents' house to reach the goal of getting out of debt. So this is something you can think about. Like, what am I willing to sacrifice for the thing that's most important, the things that are most important to me right now? And then there's some prompts in here about envisioning the future. What are some of your big, wild, scary, and seemingly impossible dreams? I love this kind of question because this is us not thinking inside of a box or thinking with limitations. Like, if you could literally have anything you wanted to have, you could have access to whoever you wanted to have access to. You've got unlimited, knowledge and time. What would you do? Like, what would be one of your goals? I uncovered something crazy that I just didn't realize was something I wanted when I thought about this one. But yeah, that is that section. And then we get into setting goals. So you actually brainstorm your goals. And then we talk about action plans as well. So I'm going to just scroll really quickly. If you guys haven't figured out your word for the year, there's a section here to help you choose your word for the year. And we even have like a little, I even created a word of the year picker as well. If you go to that site, actually, I can take you to the site right quick. Let me take you there. There's a little word of the year picker. Have you guys picked your word for the year? Is that a thing you do? Your word is intentional. I love that. I love it. Anybody else have their word for the year? My word for the year is rooted. Rooted. There's a lot behind that word. Word of the year picker. So if you, there is a QR code in the planner. There's also, there's a QR code in the planner. There's also a link in the clickable planner. If you click on, let's see, let me stop that screen. Shift, I like that. If you have not figured out your word for the year, there's some suggestions on how to do it. I'm about to sneeze, excuse me. There's some suggestions on how to do it in excuse me, in the planner. My daughter's dog has been in and out of here and it's messing up my nose. Chrome tab, that's not that one. I need this. Close. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know what? The last time I did a live, like I was sick and I was sneezing like crazy. Okay, window. Here we go. So this is the little word of the year picker. What you can do on this page, once I get back to it, what you can do on this page is press this little play button and words will just pop up and then you can just press pause and it'll pause on a word, right? If that moves you, that's your word. If it doesn't, try again. Courage. Ooh, that's a good one. So there's a link in the planner to this word of the year picker as well. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to go back to the clickable planner and show you the monthly sheets where you do your tending, okay? Let's do that. Share my screen, window, planner. Okay. So let's go to, I'm going to click on one of the months, January. So after, actually, no, I said we were going to go to the goal setting templates. So these are the goal setting templates. I don't think it's showing you what I'm seeing. I may have to stop this for a second. Give me just a second. Something's not working right. Can you guys hear the people outside yelling? Sounds like somebody's like yelling at somebody down the street. I don't know where Rico is, friend. Don't sound like he around here. Oh, good. Then my camera's really good. Okay, there we go. So this is where the planner gets into goal setting. So these are the goal templates. There's a page that tells you exactly how to use the goal template, but I'm going to go through one of them. and set a goal. So here is, let's do it this way. Okay. All right, so here's the goal template. You have your space to write your goal. You have a place to write your due date and frequency. You have a place to write your desired outcome. And remember what I said, the difference between the goal and a desired outcome. I like to just tell myself, I know I can reach this goal because this, right? Like I've thought through why I believe I can reach this goal because they should be realistic, right? You guys know what SMART goals are. They should be specific. They should be measurable, which is why you have a due date or frequency. They should be achievable, right? Achievable. I know I can achieve this because, right? And that also covers relevancy, right? Because we did all the work to make sure our goals would be relevant, getting to know ourselves. And then you can put in your categories, but then there's sections for you to put in the very next actions you need to take to reach that goal, right? Because I believe in plans. And then the systems. What am I going to start doing to make this goal happen? What am I going to stop doing? And then when I complete this goal, I will reward myself by. So what's one of you guys' goals this year? I'm going to write a goal down. And you guys let me know what some of your goals are while I write. I'm going to write a goal down. I'm going to write one of my goals. Whew. My word is peace. That's a good word. We need that word, child. That word is needed and necessary, especially where we at right now. Okay. So last year, my goal was to get out of debt. So I will be completely out of debt here in the next couple of months, I think by the end of Q2. So one of my goals is going to be, oops, that is too large. Let me erase that. One of my goals is going to be to shift to building my savings again. So save $20,000 in my sabbatical fund. And I don't like to call it a emergency fund. You know, most people say you need an emergency fund in case you lose your job, you can take care of yourself for 6 months. That ain't an emergency. That's a sabbatical. I don't see that as an emergency. I see that as I got money that lets me take my time to find a new job, right? And I use my sabbatical fund already. So I lost my job in September of last year. And I did not work for another 6 months. I chilled, traveled for the rest of the year. And then the beginning of the year, I spent 3 months in Asia. And then I came back to the US in April of 2025 because I got a job. So I'm trying to replenish my sabbatical fund. Your financial goal is to have 10,000 saved. I love that. So the due date for me is 12/31/26. And the desired outcome is what I just said, to be prepared in the event I decide. No, I don't want to say it like that. I'm just going to say to have the option to take 6 months off. That's my desired outcome right there. And I know I can reach this goal because I have built my 2026 budget and have enough excess to put in savings for this. Okay. All right. So that is I'm doing this on an iPad. I'm just doing the writing in. If you're doing it on the fillable version, you can just type this in. Now, the next thing what we want to do to hold ourselves accountable, because all this is real cute, right? This is adorable. This sounds noble and wonderful. Good job, girl. But like, how you going to get it done for real, for real? Like, what's the action plan? So the next actions, I would say, and you don't have to have the whole plan broken out. What are the next 3 to 5 steps that you need to take to make this happen, right? I think the next action for me would be to update Oh, you know what? If you didn't have one, open a high yield savings account. If you don't have a high yield savings account, please, by all means, for the love of all things holy, get a high yield savings account. Okay. But if you didn't, that would be action one for you. But in my case, update direct deposits. Because, baby, the system, I'm going to say I'm going to do this by the end of January. And then because the systems that we're going to say to achieve this goal are to automatically deposit money. Right? Automatically deposit money. And then another system that I could have would be to hold myself accountable, right? Have an accountability partner that I send maybe screenshots of my savings account balance to, right? So I'm going to say send balance. That's too big. Oops. I erased all my stuff. Y'all see that? So you can zoom in a lot more. Like if the lines are too small for you, I just realized this yesterday. If the lines are too small for you, you can zoom in a lot more to fill these out. Automatically deposit. And then I could also say share balance with my mom. She's a good accountability partner. My mom's a really good accountability partner. She'd be like, girl, what are you doing? Right? What I'll stop doing to achieve this goal, withdrawing money from my savings account. And then when I complete this goal, how will I reward myself? Miss Mocha, how are you going to reward yourself when you hit your $10,000 savings goal? I have been having a hard time thinking about how to reward myself when I hit my savings goal because everything I think about costs money. Everything I keep coming up with actually costs money. And I'm like, it feels counterintuitive to save money and then once I hit the goal of saving money, then turn around and spend money. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Trip to Puerto Rico. Ooh, que bueno. I'm going to I think I might do something that I never do, which is like buy a designer bag. And it won't even be like a super high-end designer. It's going to be a Coach bag because I got to hook up at Coach. That's it. There's this Juliet bag that I want. Or the Empire bag. I'll just say buy a Coach bag. There. That's what I'm going to do. So that's how you fill out the goal templates. And then what you get to do as well is go to January. So, oops, I clicked the wrong thing. So I'm going to January, and here you can start planning your month. So there's pages here to plan your month. You can complete journals. Like, what are you most excited about this month? I am most excited about, I mean, January is halfway over, guys, but I'm most excited about spending time in New Orleans with my friend for her birthday. That's what I'm most excited about. What are you guys excited about for January? And has it happened already? There's also a journal prompt. I start everything with journal prompts. You don't have to do what I do. Girl, it's your life. If trip to Puerto Rico is what you want to do after you save up 10,000, I would just say maybe adjust that 10,000 to include the cost of a trip to Puerto Rico. That's it. That's all I would say. Unless the 10,000 is for Puerto Rico, right? Because like you save up to Puerto Rico, then where are you going to get the money? I mean, save up the $10,000. Where are you getting the money to go to Puerto Rico? I ain't counting your dollars, but I'm just saying, make sure that that money is set aside too. What challenge or obstacle do I need to prepare for this month? That's a good question. And how can I set myself up for success despite this? Like if you know you got a busy month coming up, or um, you've got an expensive month coming up, what are some of the things that you need to think about and prepare for the month ahead? And then how will I embody my word for the year this month? So in the month of January, how are you going to embody the word? How are you going to embody the word peace, Miss Mocha, for the month of January? Undo, don't stop, yo, and you don't stop. Oh, girl. And you don't stop. How are you going to embody the word shift in the month of January? Yes, Michelle, how are you embodying the word intentional in January? My word of the year is rooted. And so in January, I'm embodying the word by, I'm going to focus on foundational routines and sticking to them consistently. So my word again is rooted. And so one of the things I'm trying to do this month is rooting down into my routines, making sure I don't go to bed with the dishes in the sink, which is hard for me to do because I sit up sometimes and work until it's very late, until I'm like too tired to do anything else. And so I skip skincare. I skip my nighttime skincare so often. It's not even funny. Like, thank God I don't have like a whole lot of skin issues, because baby, it would be really, really challenging for sure. Thank goodness. But yeah, I skip my skincare routine very often. So I'm trying to focus on rooting down into like foundational routines and making sure I do it every single day in the month of January, so that they're just things I do, part of my life. Like I'm going to do my whole nighttime routine so I can sleep well. And so my skin don't fall off, because I need lotion, y'all. Like I don't have a whole lot of skin problems, but my skin is dry, very, very dry. I spoke my crochet plans to my audience and I do weekly check-in with them. It's intentional accountability. I love that. I love that. Okay. So that is one of the things that we do to plan the month. And then, we have goals for the year, but you can also have goals for the month as well. So there's sections in here in the planner where you can put your goals for the month for each of the categories: finance, career, business. And then when you come back at the end of the year to do your review, you can write notes here. You can write notes right here. And then you can also say if this goal is completed, in progress, or if you canceled it, right? Because, one of these can be true. You wouldn't select all of them. But at the end of the month, when you do your review, you can say, you know what, I decided not to do this goal. But my finance goal for this month is to, my finance goal for this month, Lord Jesus, is to pay off one credit card. And at the end of the month, I can come back and say I completed this, or it's in progress. If it's in progress, I can put notes as to, why I didn't complete this goal. And so there's sections for you to do that for the month for each of your goals. And then there's also a little calendar that you can fill in as well. So like January 9th was my brother's birthday. So if this was the beginning of the month, this would have been here. And then I am traveling this month as well. And then, right? So you can put those things in here also. And the rest of it is for your action plans, your habits. And these are things you can track. So some people like to track different things throughout the month. You don't have to fill these in, but some people like to track these things. So there's just 4 things that I see people tracking often. And then there's blank ones in case there's something else that you want to track. Like maybe I want to track at the beginning of the month, I want to track my net worth. Right? or maybe I want to track my waist, how many inches my waist is, right? So you can just put whatever that number is at the beginning of the month. And then at the end of the month, when you come back, I think I was 181.6 at the beginning of this month. And at the end of the month, when you come back, you can write that in. So there's places for that. And then there's also sections for you to review the month as well, as you can see. And we will do that together. I'm going to stop sharing now. Oh, I love that. You get new subscribers over here. I love it. All right, and that is how we do the tending. So the part that I just showed you about the review, that is what we will do together as a community. And that first session is going to be held on Saturday, January 31st at 11 a.m. So it's January 31st at 11 a.m. We're going to get together and go through that review session, those review pages that I just showed you. And we'll have the same conversation, right? But it'll be a little bit more interactive because it won't be me in a video and you guys commenting. We'll all be on a call together so we can all speak to one another and, just kind of talk through our goals, how things have gone, and then we'll plan the next year as well. But that is the planner. What do you guys think so far? Yes. So 10 Central. I'd love to hear your thoughts about the planner, any feedback. And if you want to grab the planner, I'm going to drop the link again. I love it. Yes, we are a community here. I like it, but I also would like it. I love it when it's a little bit more interactive where, if you guys want to come off mute and ask a question or, share your own screen and show me something that you're working on, we can do that kind of thing too. Yeah. So that's the planner. And if you want to join the community so that we can, if you get the plan, I forgot to tell you, if you get the planner, the first month's free. It's only $10 a month, but if you get the planner, that first month is free. And so that Saturday, January 31st session, you will not be paying for. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love this planner. I loved making it. I cannot wait until I can make a physical version, but I'm rocking with this iPad version for now. And again, you can do it clickable, which is the iPad/tablet version, or you can do it fillable, which you could use on a laptop or desktop. I don't know the experience on a phone. I feel like it would be challenging on a phone just because it's decently dense, right? Like there's a lot in here. It's 258 pages, y'all. I will only be showing you a C2C square I'm working on as part of a blanket I'm making. I would love to see that. My daughter crochets. She crochets a lot. I would love to see that actually. At any rate, January 31st is your birthday. That's amazing. Happy birthday. Happy early birthday. I hope you're going to do something perfect for you. I almost said I hope you're going to do something fun, but maybe you want to do something relaxing. I hope you could spend it exactly how you would like to. At any rate, thanks for hanging out with me. We're a little bit over time. I hope you guys grab the planner. I hope you guys join the community. I hope to see you there. But also, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on alerts so you get notified when I post new content. Thank you for hanging out with me today. And have a great Sunday. And if you're off tomorrow, I hope you enjoy yourself. Take care. Bye, y'all.